Hello, my friend. Thank you so much for being so patient. It's been a crazy time for me, obviously. If you follow any of my content, you know. Also, I probably have food that's going to arrive like the second I start this video, which I just did. So I will just pause it when they eventually call me. Just letting you know, not that it will have any impact on the reading. Okay, so we were going to hide your last name, of course. I've done that already. And I wanted to check one more thing before I share the screen. Okay, gotcha. All right, so let's go ahead and just triple check. All right, add aspect grid. Okay, now let's set a timer. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. I do this. I kind of like with readings lately. I've been really resonating with kind of going back and forth between showing my face, but then also just like showing the chart. Sometimes I feel like when the camera's not on me, I'm able to get deeper. It just depends. It's kind of reading per reading, depending on how I'm feeling and stuff. But like I'll do stuff like, for example, like off camera, I'll be like walking around, I'll be like meditating, I'll have crystals. Like there's all this like stuff like I'll do, but like the whole point, all that matters here is getting to the bottom of the chart, right? So yeah, of course, there's times where it's important to see me, and you know, yeah. Let me have a little bit of water. Let's just jump into this. Okay, so clearly here we have a Cancer moon. Oh, and of course, here comes the call. 1 second. I'm just gonna. I don't. Okay. Wow, that was way easier than usual. Usually it's like a huge thing. Like, oh, they can't get into the apartment. There's like 2 number 11s at where I live, which is really annoying. And yeah, so cool. Okay. So that they just left it at the door. So I have to go down. Where's my charger though? I need my charger. Um. So yeah, with your chart, right away, what pops out, even not even looking at anything. Obviously, Aries rising is like it's very good when you have Aries rising, because basically means that the first house in astrology is related to Aries. It's also with Pisces. I think they're the 2 rarest rising signs, I believe. But basically, like you see, like first house, it just makes it so every house aligns, like because each house, like the first house is linked to Aries, right? In every chart, just in general. And it goes kind of around, like the second house is linked to Taurus, third house Gemini, fourth house Cancer. So Aries rising, because Aries is the first sign, it means that every single other, like for example, like every single sign or planet will be in like the house that it accompanies, that naturally accompanies it, right? So for example, like fourth house is the house of Cancer, and your moon is in Cancer in the fourth house. Fifth house is the house of Leo, and your moon is in Leo in the fifth house. So what that does is that it kind of accentuates, it kind of magnifies and accentuates all those placements, right? Like, because like if you had for example, your moon in Cancer, like let's say like in the third house, right, the house of Gemini, it'd be a lot different, because the house has to do with like the arena of life where that energy is manifesting. So yeah, Aries rising it's very, very interesting, and it's equally interesting Libra rising, because that's the opposite sign. That kind of throws everything in the opposite direction, right? So yeah, Aries rising, they kind of just, you have Chiron in the, it'd be in the 12th house in Pisces. It'd be first house in whole sign, which I use whole signs, but I reference Pisces because I like to give I like to kind of give both like for some placements, I like to kind of explain both perspectives just when I feel intuitively like I need to. But anyways, yeah, so Aries rising, right? You know, your personality, outer personality, you know, they're known to be very they're go-getters, you know, very independent, very like not afraid to kind of speak your voice and to be assertive. It's a very assertive and outward masculine kind of energy, right? So it's ruled by Mars, so it makes Mars, which you have, you know, conjunct your sun in Leo. Wow, that's such a strong energy. So direct, you know, and it's only aspect, yeah, it's pretty much unaspected. I mean, it has a trine with Chiron if you want to count that. So, you know, that's going to be like a very yeah, very just forward moving. Well, it's not an aspect because it has a conjunction with the sun, but besides that, um, and the sun, yeah. So both of them kind of just like there's nothing holding that Leo energy back, you know. So and it also is in an elemental trine, meaning that like it's like, you know, this is fire and your ascendant's fire, your sun's fire. So you know that Leo energy is going to be a very pulsating, just like just woof, like a straight fire line, you know, nothing really holding it back. No Saturn square sun, no Pluto opposite sun, like or slash Mars, right? Because they roll together. Now, another thing that's interesting about when you have like two planets, like there are two very important planets conjunct, two personal planets, right? The big three, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, and then Venus, Mars, Mercury. When you have any two of those conjunct, that means that, and maybe after this, most people do like instead of just doing only the follow up, they tie together the follow up and a current astrology reading, and I'll give you that option. I'll give you a reduced price too. And that basically like I only do like, you know, 3-4 maximum of those a week. And it's a really awesome reading. And I highly suggest that you add that on. But what I was going to say is that when you have transits, right, to your sun, you're also having them to your Mars. So imagine, let's just say for the sake of argument, or of just giving an example, that Pluto was like, let's say, obviously it's in Capricorn, but let's say Pluto was right now well, it's about to be in Aquarius, so actually it will make sense in a few years. Like Pluto, when it gets to like that 7, 8 Aquarius, don't ask me on the dates. It's gonna be many years. It moves super slowly, maybe towards the end of the decade, right? But basically, you'll feel any transits to the sun will also be transiting Mars, so it'll be like a like kind of a double kind of effect, which like when you do have that Pluto opposition, man, that's going to be really intense on both levels, right? So they kind of roll together, they fuse together. And Mars conjunct, yeah, like Sun is just like, especially Sun exalted in, you know, or in dignity in Leo, which is, you know, the Sun is ruled by Leo. So when it's we don't talk about like best or worst, right? In astrology, we say like kind of more like the easiest and most difficult, or just like what flows the best. So the Sun loves being in Leo, right? Sun Leo equals the Sun, right? It's so you know, when you have it there, you're really able to express your, like, you know, you're really here to, especially in the fifth house, karmically, you know, I look at everything from karma. You're lucky. I'm not lucky. You are lucky because I'm doing this reading. I chose yours. I had like a choice of 3 that kind of booked at the same time. Chose yours, and this is like me post fucking workout, like just feeling great. You know, amazing, just energy today. Even though the moon's in Scorpio, which usually destroys me. It's been better lately though. Maybe I've done shadow work or something. I don't know. But yeah, in essence, like, yeah, so I'll be on top. I'm on top of my game right now. Like it just creates like a very like a very creative purpose. Like there's a very clear creative purpose for you in this lifetime. And where's the North Node at? Yeah, it's in Pisces. So that's kind of another very different element, but we'll get into that. But you know, where's Pluto? Pluto is in the 6th. Okay, so conjunct Venus. Okay, got you. So there's definitely like a part of you that's very linked. Okay, there's lots of different parts. Okay, lots of different splits and parts of you, like in the full, you know, parts work. Like we break it down. There's lots of stuff going on in this chart. It's like kind of like lots of different themes, right? Some charts have like 1 or 2 main themes. Yours, there's several I can see already. Now, first of all, like so you know, with the sun, right? It's obviously all about 1 second. Yeah, it's all about basically just expressing yourself, because in past lives, you know, with the South Node in Virgo, you know, you've been someone who's been very dutiful, like in the sense of like there's just been a lot, like it's kind of the energy of someone who's been very like very good, but also very, it can be like very stuck. Let's see if there's any squares. Square Neptune. Yeah. So like there's something in some passive energy where like your sense of spirituality was pushed away because the Neptune squares in the South Node. So like, and then your North Node is in you know, in Pisces in 12th house. So it's like a very spiritual journey for you in this lifetime. But like in past lives, you were somewhat held back, right? There's like some type of repression in that sense. And yeah, so it's like repression slash like repression of your spiritual ideals. And I see this a ton with clients, right? They come in this lifetime and like they're really meant to it's almost like you were lied to in a past life. Imagine like you see all these people in today's world, right? You're obviously like a more enlightened person. I don't know anything about you, but I know the fact that you're getting a reading with me like puts you in a category of like, you know, the point, or I don't even want to like give percentages because I don't know them, but let's say like, you know, maybe like 5% or 10%, I don't know, of people with like a kind of higher level of consciousness, or at least like a intuitive hunch of like, you know, and most of them are women, right? That's just how it is. Women are more, you know, more advanced than men in this day and age. I'll say it, you know, more spiritually advanced. And when you think about what does that mean? Well, like if spirituality and understanding of the universe and just understanding of why we're here is the most important thing, then that to me makes women kind of more advanced in certain ways. Of course, there's you know, there's all kinds of men who are you know, different in that sense and have their own way of expressing spirituality and faith and all that stuff. So it's just a general statement, that something I've noticed, right? Mm. Now, so having that said, right? So being held back, right? It's like I see you like in these cycles of like being very like in the material world, right? Very in the material world, not really like allowing that mind to open, right? Because in some way there's like like maybe you were like pushed into like some type of situation where you weren't really allowed to think like yeah, like I was saying before, look at the world now. Look at people who grow up with this like kind of atheist, just like just, you know, they kind of just like take what they learn from school. They don't really think outside the box, and you know, they become very materialistic, and then they live their lives kind of based off of like, you know, money is everything, you know. But like that's not what I'm saying you were, because it is in the 6th house. But I'm saying that, you know, Virgo, you know, energy, like when it's been in the South Node, it's like you have this natural talent of being very organized, being very on point. But then there can be a tendency, because the South Node you're trying to move away from, you're trying to move towards the North Node, right? That's the whole thing, right? So South Node's kind of like what you've mastered. So you, in a way, you've kind of mastered like living in like the material. Let me put some socks on. When I run, sometimes my feet get kind of soggy, so I have to, not soggy, it sounds weird. They just get kind of, I don't know, it just feels better to have socks on sometimes. So I'm just put on some new socks too. But like, yeah, there can be like a tendency to like be more involved with you know, like what is seen, you know? So like kind of yeah, I'm just trying to like paint the picture of like someone today. You could probably imagine many people in your own life who, you know, just completely like, you know, are anti things like astrology. Their minds are closed, and they, you know, it doesn't make them bad people. Like maybe like a good example of like what it would show up as, especially in the 6th house, would be like, you know, like a nurse or a doctor, someone who's actually really helping, right? Because that's, you know, Virgo is about that, right? Who's really like really doing good things, and who's a really good person, but you know, from whatever reason they've been misled, and that misleading has pushed them away from higher connection, right? To the oneness, right? Connection and understanding of the oneness that is. And that's what you're really trying to get to in this lifetime, is to really not only like understand it, but embody that consciousness, that level of like, you know, we are all one, you know, and really like go into like the deeper spiritual realms and investigate, you know, whatever it is that can get you closer to God, if I may say so, you know, closer to God, closer to the universe, closer to that deeper understanding, and which leads to that the deepest inner peace possible, you know, to really feel that presence. Like I feel that presence so fucking deeply. Not every day. Days like today, you know, usually I do, right? I'm 28-degree fucking Pisces, and I've done tons of, you know, I'm an astrologer, and what the fuck do you expect? But like, it's something that can't really be put into words, right? But a lot of people, and I've noticed this, you know, when I don't drink or party that often, but I noticed like I was at a music festival. I go there each year, and it's 4 days. And at the end of it, I remember feeling like so disconnected, you know, because I drank, you know, like, I mean, I slept, but like, you know, it's 4 days of a fucking party festival. Like you're gonna like, it really was. It reminded me like, wow, like it's so crazy, like how, like people live in this kind of way, you know, like there's people, like I experienced my life in such a fucking different level of consciousness than I felt that day. You know what I mean? So it just made me really grateful to kind of be doing what I'm doing, and to have taken the path. And that's kind of what it is for you, right? It's like, it's not that you were like like the party metaphor was more to kind of exemplify the difference in understanding, maybe logically, like higher truth, but versus actually feeling it through your vibration, through you know, whatever it is. So things like meditation, like shamanism, like whatever it is, you know, anything spiritual is really going to be great for you. Being, you know, being a very compassionate person, someone who allows themselves to dream, who opens their mind up, right? Because like I said, it's been held back. It's been repressed. So in this lifetime, it's really, you know, there's a huge emphasis on moving towards being more spiritual, and really like kind of learning to like let go of, not let go of everything that's materialistic, but learning to shift yourself in a way where, you know, because of course, you know, you do have a sun in Leo with a Mars conjunction, so you're going to be someone who's going to be like very ambitious at whatever you want to do, and you're going to have lots of firepower to get wherever you want to get, right? Now, I must say, with that said, like it's very important, you know, like for that person, you know, with this chart, to find that creative outlet. Now, sometimes fifth house can be about children, but you know, Leo, it's about like, you know, you are the you know, I love Leos because, you know, like high vibe Leos, because they really express this like it's about like learning to express that inner child, like Leo moons, Leo suns, like it doesn't matter how old they get, like at least like the good ones, you know, they tend to like stay youthful, you know, they tend to stay, it's very like, it's a shining light, right? So it's about finding that shining light, and finding like through your different like explorations, like what is it that really like lightens you up, you know? What is it? Music? Is it doesn't even have to be an art, like what is it, right, that really connects you, right? Because I feel like that fifth house sun can be like a portal, with the Mars can be like a portal to feeling that oneness. Like I could totally see this like in the chart of like a musician or any kind of artist who through that creative process feels that oneness. But it can be anything, you know, it's not just like just the arts, or just music, or just dance, or just it's anything, right? But you're really meant to like create in this lifetime, really meant to authentically express yourself, and then, you know, there's the moon and you know about your Leo sun, right? I don't have to go too far into like Leo sun, but like the fact that Mars is there too, Mars, which is your chart ruler, you have this unreal willpower. Now sometimes you have to watch out, because they're very like, there's like very like, if you even want to call them aspects, like, you know, pretty much besides each other, they just go straight, you know, like if you look at the cursor, like you know, like you'd look for a square in over here in Scorpio. Nope, this is 8 degrees, that's 28 degrees. Okay, you look for one in Taurus, you know, it's 21 degrees, right? And these are like, you know, these don't matter. So, you know, it's out of the range to be squared by Saturn, it's out of the range to be squared by Neptune, which is so fortunate. And then you look for the opposite Aquarius, there's no planets there, right? So there's nothing really that's holding it back. If anything, the sun, which has like, the sex, they have like Uranus that kind of gives them like a mini little sextile, right? That just adds more like to that energy of just like individualism and really finding yourself, right? But you have to watch out though for being too direct and for being too kind of demanding and things like that, right? And also like the whole Leo thing about like showing off and narcissistic, like having narcissistic tendencies, stuff like that is kind of like the lower Leo vibe. So you have to watch out for like, the selfishness, all that kind of stuff, right? Always need to be the center of attention. Look at me, look at me, look at me. That's like the warning signs for all Leos, right? But then, of course, I just made a video about like what's like something literally like what I'm about to talk about, which is the sun and the moon. Like what's your sun moon story, right? So for you, it's very much about like, okay, well, the moon's in Cancer right on the IC, so that is very different, right? And they're back-to-back signs, but so basically, I made a video like a week or so ago about the zodiacal story. I talked about how Cancer is that point when we go within ourselves and we really discover, through our family, through our roots, like it's where we find our emotional roots, right? So, and it's very, it's linked to the moon. So you have this like this, and you have your moon in dignity. So this is very rare. This is very, very rare. This is incredible, actually. Wow. Have I seen this before? So you have your sun in Leo, moon in Cancer. That's like, one would say, the best possible combination. I mean, like if you have to make it, like I would never make a thing of like best sun signs and best moon signs, but like the ones that they say are in dignity refer to like where it works the best. The sun is in dignity in Leo, the moon is in dignity in Cancer. Like there's not even like a tie. It's just like some people are like, oh, Taurus moon, whatever. Like it works well too. But like moon in Cancer is someone who's really able to meet their own emotional needs. Of course, that they're very in touch with their emotions, right? So it creates like a certain ease. Like, the person will be very emotional, very empathetic, and some people, it might be like too much for some people who are like more disattached. But like it's a very, very good moon placement because in life, like as emotions are energy, right? So when the moon is in Cancer, like let's say like something happens, right? The moon in Cancer person will feel the emotional impact and will cry if they need to cry right away. They'll get the energy, just kind of how like animals, that like when something happens, they like shake it off. It's kind of like that. They deal with it then and there. Of course, Cancer also still can be, it is a water sign, so there can be that whole, the Cancer that like just like hides itself within its own shell, like when it gets hurt and doesn't want to trust again. Like if it's hurt early, like in a relationship, like it can be difficult for them to kind of like go back out and trust again. But overall, it's a strong placement, and it creates, and it's on the IC, so it's like very, very strong link to your childhood. Like you'll be someone who's really like took a lot, like your childhood will continuously play a huge role in your life and be very impactful to what you do career wise too. Yeah, just like a really, really deep emotional attachment to your family and your family of origin. If you have if you have children, whatever it is, like it's a very deep attachment to that. So you see how that's kind of like in contrast to the Leo, which is like in the zodiacal story, like the I talk about how Gemini, that's where you find your voice and you start kind of like going around, blah blah. Then the moon is where you kind of take it all in. You create those like real like you start to find yourself emotionally. Like how do things make you feel, right? And Leo is after that period of like deep introspection of the moon, when you go out and really like experiment and have fun and create and try to find what you're passionate about. So that's like kind of what I'm saying, is that like you'll have a side of you that's very, very emotional, water, and then a side of you that's very, very fiery. I have the exact same thing, by the way. Mine's a square with Pisces and Sag, so yours isn't a square, which makes it easier. So yeah, but there'll still be like that split between like the side of you that wants to just like be very family oriented and, you know, really want to like be like kind of like a nest, you know, like loving your nest, loving your home, everything domestic. And then the side of you that really wants to kind of like create and almost be like a powerhouse in some sort of way. When I say powerhouse, I just mean someone who just has extreme amounts of power, personal power, and people can feel that, especially as an Aries rising, right? You know, people can be intimidated by you potentially. It'll give you like a masculine kind of energy, but then your moon, which this is the interesting part, which is the more hidden, right? Part of you will be very, very feminine. So you'll have this like very like you could like very like outgoing dynamic presence, but then also this very like feminine, like unable to like go to wherever any like if like you know like a very, very good friend, also someone people can come to and who's so deep and so sensitive and who can like kind of have the best of both worlds in that regard, right? So that's interesting, and I think you got to follow up. I believe I saw that before. So yeah, you did for sure. So we'll be able to talk about that. Just make sure you take notes during this reading. Most people watch it like a couple times. It gets pretty deep. I always tell people like the first time, don't like go too hard on the notes, and then like you know after that, it's good to take notes. But you know just for the follow up to because like you know I mean if you have a photographic memory of course whatever, but it's just a good practice to really maximize this whole process. So yeah, like and then to remind me about things that I brought up that we can like talk about and compare to your lived experience, which in this case would be like that Leo versus, you know, not versus, that Leo combining with that Cancer and how you're feeding both mouths. I just made a video about this. So the moon, so you have like very few difficult aspects in your chart, very few, which is you know I remember I don't say good or bad, but like it's less difficult. Does that mean that your chart is easy? We'll see. It usually, when I see that, it usually points to like there being like a major emphasis, and I think this is like about like the whole thing with spirituality and really like diving deeper into your creative side, right? Because it kind of it's like if it's like there's charts where there's like tons of barriers, right? Karmic barriers, but then there's some charts where it's like the karma is more like, okay, well, we're not gonna like put Pluto here, we're not gonna put Saturn here. And funny how I'm saying like we, like you know, Saturn's not gonna be here, Pluto's not gonna be here, it's not gonna be like pushing you back or creating this energy. But you know, you need to emphasize these areas. So really also like ancestors, connecting to your ancestors and stuff like that. It's, you know, it can be very psychic like placement to have that. And also the moon cycle is very important for you to follow the moon cycles and you know, you could like journal like how like different full moons make you feel and how you and kind of like really be in tune with the lunar cycles where they're at, because they'll have a huge effect on you as a Cancer moon. And when I say effect, I don't mean like negative, positive. I just think it'd be interesting for you to kind of like because you'd be able to kind of like lock down, like understand, like kind of how, you know, like what to expect at different points in lunar cycles, right? And like how, for example, like I was saying to you before, how like when the moon hits Scorpio, for me, that's always usually a pretty dark time. So you can kind of like understand, like okay, the moon's here. How do I feel? And just try to see the trends. Um. So 1 second. So yeah. And that's the thing that might be a little bit difficult or might cause some confusion with different people in your life, is that like you'll come off very like I said, you'll come off very masculine, and you may surprise people with your depth. You may surprise people with your compassion and with your empathy and with that feminine side, because the Aries rising, like I said, it's a fire sign. It's very masculine, and it's not. And the moon is what is more hidden. It's like if you're an egg, the moon is like kind of the inner yolk, while water, while the outside shell is the ascendant, and the sun is kind of the inner part, right? So you know, people don't really see that inner part until they really get to know you. So yeah, it can create some surprises in that realm. Aside from that, you know, we don't see, like I said, we don't really see that many tough aspects. Like Chiron does square the moon, so that can speak to like kind of like initiation and healing, like some type of emotional wounding, like early on in life. It's you know, it leads you to become like a more you have to have something in your chart that's like, you know, to be a healer, to be someone, you know. I mean, I've never seen someone who comes to me that has like no, like nothing, no tough aspects at all. I mean, maybe I have, but like very rarely, right? So Chiron, you know, represents like kind of spiritual pain, I guess you could say, or like just pain in general. It's like the wounded healer archetype. So when square the moon, you know, it could mean that like in some way your emotional needs, because you have very high emotional needs, right? As a Cancer moon, maybe they just weren't met completely in childhood. So yeah, definitely something we can talk about to learn more about and understand deeper, when you explain to me like your lived experience with that. Now aside that, you know, so I was talking about kind of like earlier about like the lower Leo energy, right? Um, and you do have your Black Moon Lilith in Leo also, so that actually set like kind of goes with what I was saying. I was thinking like when I was saying, I was like, is there Black Moon Lilith? I couldn't see it at the time. I was like, is there Black Moon Lilith? I'll put my face back on for a little bit. I was like, is there Black Moon Lilith? You know, is the camera good? Yeah. I was like, is there Black Moon Lilith in Leo also? And I didn't see it, but now that I see that it is there, there is. So Black Moon Lilith is kind of like your dark side. It's kind of like what comes out like when you're like your lowest vibe, if you want to put it like that. And you know, having it conjunct Mercury and Leo, it makes me think that like, you know, your Mercury's at 29 degrees, very karmic point. And it's also squared by Neptune, so it's like the one hard aspect you have of inner planets besides like the moon square Chiron. It's basically like there can be like a certain level of like you probably early in life really have to watch out for that over Leoness, as I spoke about earlier, right? Like sometimes it can be like taking, not giving, and then thinking that, you know, people are doing the opposite. But really also, you know, the fifth house, right? So Black Lilith also speaks to like what people can be jealous of us, like the things that can make people jealous. So like your creative ability, your ability to kind of be like, you know, very entrepreneurial, very creative, very, you know, fiery, like that very like kind of, I don't want to say dominant, but that very like you know, assertive kind of like royal regal energy is something that can kind of make people jealous, right? Also, if you have children, people could be jealous of your children. And you know, fifth house also rules like when it comes to relationships, it's like the more like flirty kind of beginning stages, like hookup stage of relationships, you know, or like the more like fun, you know, like the more, it's not like it's like the first part of the relationship houses, right? Like the initial meeting. So yeah, like people can be jealous of like, you know, if you are a very, very creative person or someone who's able to really express their individuality, it can kind of make people jealous. So I'm not saying like don't do that, but maybe like just think about like ways in which, you know, like for example on social media, like I'll give you an example from my life, right? Because it'll make more sense. Like I have mine in the third/fourth, depending on what system you use. And I think yours, 1 second. So yours would be in the fourth house in Placidus. So fourth or fifth. So this could work for yours too. Mine's fourth or third, depending on the system. And basically like fourth house, and it's like if you have like you know, a really nice house or, you know, something like that, it's important to like kind of not like flex that, like not like show that off, because people can create like kind of dark energies towards you and be jealous of like your real estate. So yeah, it's important, and also like stuff related to family. but yeah, for mine, yeah, it was about like not like showing off real estate, and yeah, people can be jealous of your creativity and your ability to kind of like be in touch with that kind of inner child and that fun and just this aspect that you know about that I'm trying to kind of like decipher, but you totally know what I'm talking about. So yeah, just not going over the top. The fact that it's conjunct, Mercury, how you speak, like Mercury Leo people. So this is a difficult part of your chart. It's at 29 degrees, square Neptune. So Mercury in Leo is very like proud of they speak with pride. They're very confident speakers. They they feel they're very proud of their knowledge, and sometimes it can come off a little bit arrogant, right? The way like, so you have to like, that's something that the Leo archetype has to watch out for, right? Especially in this very anti-Leo world. Like my opinions, I'm Leo as fuck, so my opinions are like, we should be able to, and you have it on Regulus, your Mercury. Ooh, shit. Oh, damn. Let's see how close it is. Got my Regulus tattoo. My ascendant's on Regulus. So that means that my ascendant, how I am, is connected to your understanding. So you'll have a very good understanding of kind of me, to that Leo arc, through our connection of Mercury and ascendant. I love when I see these types of things with clients. Let's see how close it was at the time you were born. So maybe like right on there. Yeah, so it's only 0.026 away. So Regulus is like the ultimate star of just in general, but like of Leo. And while I'm at it, I might as well check to see. I think you have Sirius on your moon. Yep. And then yeah, I might as well just look at all these now. The nebula on your Venus. So that's like very, very good for like truth find, seeking truth, like kind of the inspector type energy, right? Like really wanting like it's very occult, like very like about getting to the bottom of things, and kind of very magical. And then what's this? Okay, and then where's Saturn at? Well, you at Saturn? Okay, anything on the midheaven? Nope. Ascendant? Nope. And Saturn, nothing really. I guess you have Hades. No, it's not really close enough. So yeah, basically, let's get rid of these. And Sun. Yeah, so you might speak in a way that's very, very like, just, you might not even realize it, where it's just very just out there. Like people might see it and be kind of like fuck, like who is she to say this, like who is she to be so free? Like there can be jealousy that comes from your ability to really express yourself so freely. And I'm gonna look up like what, oh, here's one. Is that Astronomia? Oh yeah, and Vesta on your Venus too. So that speaks about like really wanting to, be of service to people. So it's very, very good. And yeah, midheaven still nothing. Okay. Okay, back to this. So where to go? So yeah, overall, like just having, and then Venus is conjunct Pluto. Of course, I've talked about that. And you have Jupiter on your ascendant. Nice. Luck and love. Very lucky in love and partnerships in general. Where was I? Yeah, so with the Mercury, yeah, you just have to kind of watch out for being a little bit overly expansive, and with the dark moon Lilith, yeah, black moon Lilith like conjunct it, it's like energy of just kind of like spewing out that Leo, that low vibe Leo energy like through your communications. Now what can happen with the square of Neptune though is that makes it so there can be like a level of confusion. It's very, very artistic, right, when it gets integrated, but it can make it so like there's like the way that you filter information is kind of, there's like a distortion with it. So you might like really like people who have this, they really benefit from like being able to like ask ask people. 1 second. Hold on. Okay. What is this? That's kind of weird. God, someone booked a Saturn return reading when I have it like literally written there, like you have to get a natal chart reading before I do any current astrology. So I'm gonna have to tell her that, fortunately. But yeah, basically, so as I was saying, you know, that like there's like a distortion. It's very good to like reality check. Like you might like misconceive like what like someone's intentions when they say something. Like so they might say like something rant like easy like how are you, or like and you might just like interpret it in a way that's like not really linked to reality. So it's very important to like have in partnerships or just like in general, someone who you can really like kind of like be like, hey, like this, this person said this, this is kind of how I interpreted it. Like, what do you think about it? Like getting second opinions and stuff can be very, very good, right? Because you sense the world and see it through like a very different lens. So yeah, like lots of misunderstandings can happen. Like I said, it's also like the master of illusions, like tricksters, magicians, all that stuff, but and very good for like all the arts. But yeah, confusion can enter like close relationships, especially because sometimes like with that Leo placement, it can be way more about like talking than listening. And what can happen is that there it can be difficult to like concentrate on like the basics of language. So it's really important to like keep things simple, be very mindful and present when you're in communication with other people. Because like at the higher like abstract level, people who have this, they do really, really well, right? But then like at like the very basic like level, it can be difficult. It's kind of like a the Pisces Mercury, right? Like giving and receiving instructions. That's like a random example I could think of, right? So also like when it comes to like signing contracts or dealing with the government, you definitely it's good to have like professional advice, not just jump into things. And yeah, it creates like an energy like just overall where there's like like you can be feel very misunderstood, especially when you're young, and there can be like insecurities that come that are more of like the nervous mental like kind of nature. And to cope, some people can rely too heavily on their fantasies. They can be very, very sensitive to like a rejection, criticism. And it's really important to find that, like I said before, that artistic / like creative outlet. And also like, getting involved in things like lies, fraud, scandals, abusing drugs or alcohol, anything that can like exacerbate those sensitivities even more, those are no good. So it's really about like grounding and finding kind of that earth energy, right? Which, speaking of earth energy, that's where your Venus is in earth, which is very, very saving, right? To have some earth. I have no earth. But do you have any air? Jupiter is the middle, like with the inner planets. I don't think so. You have Jupiter in Libra, but like, let's see. I don't think so. So yeah, lacking air also can speak to like just like not kind of having issues with like kind of like seeing the other person's perspective and conversation. One thing that's really good for people who lack air is to do actual breath work. And just like do things like going out hiking and getting literally like getting fresh air at altitude, stuff like that can be very, very, very good. So yeah, but okay. So but the thing is like, with the earth, going back to the earth, your south node is in Virgo, as I said. So it is something that like you've mastered. So like that realm of like kind of the material realm. And what can happen is like going back to what I was saying at the start, is that with the Virgo south node, they can just kind of go in circles, right? Like circles like of incarnations where there's not enough meaning. And this is the incarnation of finding meaning. That's gonna be the title of this, the incarnation of finding meaning. Should write that shit down. And 1 second, I need to pause. Okay, sorry, I am back. I had a little mix up there. Basically, yeah, a client booked like I think I just told you like a current astrology reading, and it was totally my fault. So I hate making mistakes. I'm not that hard on myself, but like I just really like I on my website like I have like the current astrology and the current astrology plus Saturn return. On the current astrology, it says only for returning clients, but then on the one that's current astrology plus Saturn return, I don't have that same thing, even though they're right next to each other. But it's really weird because she bought the reading, but like she was born in 81, so it's like she why did she get a Saturn return reading when she had her Saturn return, a long time ago? Who knows? But I gave her the option. I just have to write something up, basically saying I'll either return it or give you you can have your natal chart done, even if it's a discount. Like I'm willing to do that. So we'll see what she says. Hopefully she sticks with it. But anyways, back to what we're talking about here, the big grand story of AG's chart. Yeah, so really, yeah, the Mercury stuff is 29 degrees also. It's like there can be like confrontations. Now I want to go into this. Where we at? So with Regulus, right? Now have I seen a Regulus Mercury before? Regulus, you see the tattoo. You see the tattoo. It's a big deal star. It's all about glory, riches. It's like literally the king. Like the amount of like presidents and famous people that have like Regulus rising. Just joking. I do have it though, but I'm not famous. Maybe one day, who knows? You never know in this lifetime. Maybe one day, maybe not. My mom's sending me photos because it's her birthday and I ordered her amazing flowers because I'm the best son. Let's see. Ooh. I'm doing a reading, but I will message you after. But they look amazing. One second. Okay, so Regulus Mercury. So they write here: honorable, just popular, generosity, abused by opponents, fame gained through high position. And it says Freddie Mercury. How Regulus can you get? I guess he had that. Michael Jackson also. So this is like more about creativity. J.K. Rowling, so many people. Steve Martin, wow, damn. Okay. So yeah, it's a strong placement for the mind and to be able to really communicate in a very regal way and maybe gain through that. Let me find it. Yeah, so just that's a good that's a good one. Regulus isn't always like it depends what planet's on it, right? If it's like good or bad, or what planet slash what what I'm saying, like what point. But then it's 29 degrees, so it's like that, when you have your Mercury at 29 degrees, you tend to go through like lots of current challenges in terms of your communication, you getting your message across to people, which can not always be easy. Especially when young, because I feel like you have this like very like just like this is me kind of energy, right? And to some people, like there can be clashes, and then with the Neptune there can be the misunderstandings. So we see how that makes sense. Okay, let's talk about love, baby. Okay, so obviously you're gonna need someone just very obvious who's actually like just as a Cancer moon, all Cancer moons, they need to have someone who they can connect with on like an emotional level. you know, you can't date someone that doesn't have that same, like, they have to like value like family, value emotions, value, you know, like be able to kind of go deep. It doesn't mean they have to be like the deepest people ever, but like, you know, Cancer moons are looking for security. So like whether that's financial security, whether that's like emotional security, it's a mix of both, right? They want to have a beautiful home. They want to have like a nice family. They want things to be secure. So, you know, with that security typically comes, you know, you want someone who has their shit together, basically, right? On both levels. On the Capricorn, more, you know, success kind of society level. But it's not like like kind of like materialistic, like vain kind of energy. It's just like, you know, more based on that, on the fact that, like, you know, like someone who can really be there and create a very good family. Now, being a Leo, of course, like, you know, I kind of like hide away from like making these types of claims, like, because it's like I've seen every sun sign with every sun sign possible. So, but like, yeah, but like, you know, having all that Leo energy, so that like, it's like at least someone who, because it's in the 5th house, who isn't gonna push away that creative process, you know, that creative side. Someone who's not going to repress that, right? Someone who's going to allow you to flow. You know, that's important. But then you also have Venus conjunct Pluto in Virgo. So this is huge. So Venus in Virgo. Okay, so Venus conjunct Pluto. I mean, that, so you have Venus in Virgo, but conjunct Pluto makes it kind of like, it's like a Scorpio Venus. Right? So what happens there is that in love, there can be lots of power struggles that can happen, right? It's very, very karmic position, meaning that, like, you know, your partners will be very based on past lives and whatnot. But and you have it trine Saturn, so it's very, very good for, like, you know, being able to have like long lasting relationships. But overall, Venus and Virgo, you know, like they like things, it goes well with that Cancer moon. And it sextiles, yeah, it sextiles your moon. So it's like, why does it not show that though? Yeah, it sextiles your moon. So basically, like, there is a very good mix between those two, where they're both kind of similar. They're both domestic. They both want. It's all about like having that solid foundation in life. That's what's really, really important for that individual. To have, you know, that very solid foundation, and yeah, it's not an energy of like someone who's mucking around and just like having fun. They take relationships seriously. They value like cleanliness. They value order. They value someone who's very consistent and who they can expect to be like the same version and not change allegiances. Like loyalty is so important, right? Because Venus Virgo, they're very loyal in love, right? But the thing with Pluto here is that creates a huge level of intensity when it comes to love. It creates a huge level of intensity. I have this kombucha, you know, like whatever it's called, like that thing that's in there, the alive thing. Wish it would just not be at the top. I don't like it. I don't know what to do. Okay, either way. So yeah, with Pluto there, but that creates a really, really deep energy, which means that, like, you experience your most deep transformations through like love, basically. Like Venus, you know, conjunct Pluto, it's like it creates like the kind of person, like, so you have there's a certain need to learn to let go and surrender within love, or else there can be like this like kind of like domineering, like power struggle types of relationships that can be very toxic. But its highest level, it's like the two souls coming together, like very, very intense, like in love. So like you'll have this depth of intensity in your relationships that's like very like it takes like a very like kind of like, and very honest, right? So like there's a need for like very intimate and honest conversations, where you're able to really truly open up your full soul. Like it has to be like extremely close, right? Like very vulnerable, deepest feelings. And it's all about like when you like that feeling, that connection, and like literally merging with the other person, like in that transformation coming through that process, right? But you have to watch out for being like overly obsessive, like which can be like, you know, sometimes like around like you know, codependent energy. Watch out for that. And yeah, just overall, like just making sure that, you know, that like it's just a very high current impetus, so it can create someone like where like you might like for some people like or in early relationships, like it's very special. It's not like it's like someone who's very serious and who's really down, like really down to that. Or if it's like the lower energy, there can be also manipulation, like I talked about the power control dynamics. But like it's all about self-love, right? So like the more you're able to meet your own needs and not need the other person, and have that self-love, the more likely you are to like cultivate these relationships where there's like mutual empowerment instead of like that power struggle, right? Mutual empowerment support. And also you'll be very attracted to people who have like a large presence and very potent emotions, right? Which means that you that you really need to have like a strong sense of self in order to remain in a balanced kind of relationship with the kind of like very strong personalities that you attract, right? So yeah, it's really like and the fact that it's trine Saturn, I mean, that's the ultimate energy, like if you're married, like of just like very deep, like you guys have like gone to like the depths and transformed so much together, and it's like a very close intimate bond. Now, aside from that, you know, Venus and Virgo, it's quite practical, right? It's quite practical. Its love language is typically like, you know, like by like what it does, like its actions, like if I'm willing to like, for example, like clean the whole house to surprise you, like that's like one way Venus and Virgo would show love. And yeah, so they like meaningful relationships with a practical basis, right? Sometimes Venus and Virgo though, they can expect perfection too much in their partner. So it's like they can like sometimes they can like get too carried away with like that person needing to be perfect and projecting their own kind of perfectionism that they might have on that person. So it's important to kind of understand that too. Um, Besides that, with love, you have Jupiter on the descendant, so it's like and then, oh yeah, Venus is in the sixth house. That's really good for all things like health, all things. I mean, Pluto can kind of like be difficult. So it's like if you are someone that's really good for like working really being a really hard worker, and doing a lot for the collective and really like trying like through your work finding that oneness. But you have to watch out for like if you overwork yourself. Like I was just talking to my landlord today, and he's saying like he knows he has the stomach problem because he overworks, right? He knows it, right? So it's like if you do that, that's when like the health stuff will show up, right? Um, so it's yeah, like daily routine is super important. There's very good energy in that area of your life. Um, but there can be like dramatic changes in health that happens within the sixth house. And the whole challenge or the whole goal is to understand the power between mind and body, right? Spirit and physical, and how everything is affecting everything, and just learning about like how, like, let's say you have something going on like in your I don't know in this, one organ, like what is that organ linked to, like from a psychosomatic perspective, like really diving into that. And yeah, Venus and Virgo can be someone who like loves animals. They can be very healed by animals. Um, like this schmook, or this, I call them schmooks for some weird reason. Esme, come say hi, Esme. Esme, Felix. Okay, they don't want. But yeah, animals are the best healers. I love cats. I love cats, But whatever. Dogs are awesome too. I love all animals. And they can be very healing for you, and you have very deep, potent relationships with animals, like life-changing like relationships. They can like literally be your healers and your saviors. So you should worship all cats. But yeah, it's just also really good for like your daily work environment to have Venus there. And it just ensures that you'll really like kind of, it's good for like getting along, like if you work at a company, like getting along with like your colleagues and stuff like that. Mika, stop. Here's the other one. Mika, look what she's doing. Mika, that's not gonna open the door. Mika, what? You're gonna go outside for 2 minutes, or maybe one, because it's raining, maybe 30 seconds, and you're gonna ask me to get back inside. I'm gonna have to get up twice. You're trying to convince me, and it always works. How can I say no to these eyes? That tail. No, Mika. I said no. You're not going outside. You do this too much. It's raining. You hate rain. Okay, fine. You see, she always gets me. Ugh, it's because her Venus is right on my sun. I love her too much. Go, Mika. Okay, have fun outside for 2 seconds. So, yeah. So, anyways, with that said, having your descendant in Libra and Uranus in, the 7th and Vertex in the 7th, that basically means that, like, that creates like an energy, like Jupiter on the descendant is ultimate, like, luck in relationships. Like, you get lucky through your business if you're in business, like through your business partnerships. So mainly it means that you learn a lot and you get very lucky and fortunate when it comes to your love and your partners, the ones that you meet. The person I described, you've probably met them. Maybe you haven't, but like either way, like that's what that indicates, right? Is that there's lots of like positive energy when it comes to partnerships of all, like the partnerships are like when I talk about like business partnerships. Sometimes I wonder, like, is a best friend, like, is that a 7th house relationship? Because the house of friends is usually 11th. But like if it's like a very close one-on-one relationship with a best friend, that's a good question. 1 second. Okay, I need to read this really, or just look at this really quick. Okay. Yeah, it's one-on-one relationships. While the 11th house is like lots of like friends, So though this closeness is not really a 7th house type of intimate closeness, where your BFF knows all your secrets and you feel like you are their similar, only a non-romantic one. No, because okay. So observing the Aquarian tendency to have several friends and close to all types of people from all walks of life. Closeness through this, though this closeness is not really a 7th house type of intimate closeness, where your BFF knows all your secrets and you feel like they're your soulmate, only a non-romantic one. Nope. In any case, of the Aquarius, their friendships are more like the associations, more loose. Even if it's a one-on-one type of relationship, the intimate emotional bond is not so strong. So this is kind of like backing up what I'm thinking, right? So yeah, I mean, I need to see this. Let's see. I think it's 7th house has to be best friend. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Third friends. Okay. Yeah. 7th best friends. Okay. So yeah, I was right. So this is something I'm learning. See, I learned stuff like this like very like randomly, like through reading sometimes. Of course, if you have like a very, very intimate, close best friend, that's totally 7th house. I mean, what's the difference, between that and the romantic part? I mean, just the romantic part is the only difference. But like, these like 7th house would be like, yeah, best friend, like soul bonding best friends to know all your secrets, all that stuff that you really like literally like it's very intimate and vulnerable and all that. And then you know the also rules like open enemies. It rules, of course, mainly romantic partners, and or most notably, and then business partnerships. Like if you were like a psychologist, for example, it would rule the work, the client relationships, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but basically, having Jupiter there, it's extremely like gives extreme luck, and it's just really, really good for that energy in general. Now, as I was saying, the descendant. So in Libra, it means that you're really gonna want relationships where there's like a certain level of fairness, a certain level of just like peace, tranquility. Like you don't want all that drama stuff. So that's kind of why like that Saturn Venus, like it has to be kind of like turn into the powerful one, because like your descendant there is not going to like that. Now Uranus would be in the 6th house in Pisces, but in the 7th house in whole signs. So, I'll give you kind of both delineations. In the 6th house in Pisces, it would indicate someone like me who has really crazy routine, like like I work all night into the morning and then I sleep during the day lately, right? And it just always is shifting, right? And who probably just like, just really like is very eccentric when it comes to like their day to day. In the 7th house, though, it would speak to like wanting like lots of freedom in relationships and going for more eccentric, kind of like very individualistic types of people. And the vertex there, you show yourself as a very, very calm, balanced person. Relationships very fair, very, you're able to really see the beauty in other people. And 7th house, you're able through in your relationships is the arena of life. You're like you're close one-on-one relationships where you find like your kind of doorway to higher awareness, right? Is like through those, and it's conjunct Uranus, so it's like through these like kind of unconventional relationships, right? And the 6th house, it would be like it's like through like service to humanity. So you can take what you want from that. Neptune the 8th, that's a wonderful placement for just just like it gives psychic abilities. It gives the ability to really tap in. It's like you probably, I don't know how long you've been following, but you probably saw my list of like most psychic placements. Like Neptune the 8th, like you're able to really feel at one with others, with the collective unconscious, transcend daily life through metaphysical pursuits, and really sense the emotional undercurrents. It's really good for anyone that wants to be like a psychologist or anything like similar like that, right? Like study astrology, whatever. Like it just gives you a natural advantage. I'm so afraid of that thing. Like drinking to avoid it. What is it? The yeast? It's like just at the top. Maybe you need to put it inside champagne glass. No, it fell in. God damn it. Okay. I feel like it's like a bug that's going to attack me. I'm pretty sure. I don't think you're supposed to drink that part of the kombucha, but if you are, it's fucking gross. It's probably the most weird texture of anything ever. Anyways, I got away. We're in the clear. So yeah, that's a really, really strong placement for psychic abilities and intuition, all that stuff. Now besides that, having, I talked about Uranus, I talked about, Pluto, so I've talked about pretty much everything, right? I know I'm missing some things. Chiron in the 1st house. So it's either 12th or 1st, depending on your system. In the 12th house, it's like someone who's like able to heal through their, like spiritually heal people. And very strong. 1st house, it just kind of speaks about how you may have had like some, like your sense of self, your sense of identity, maybe even your body. It's in Aries, so like it makes sense like either way, like your sense of being violated in some way. And there can be like a lot of times with that one, like fear of asserting yourself, which I really, really doubt with you. But sometimes people try to overcompensate by trying to be first at everything. So usually, yeah, Chiron and Aries or in any fire sign. So I've said all this stuff about you and your fire, but people who have this typically, it's very interesting. We definitely have to talk about this. They have problems expressing that fire, like letting that fire fully out, right? So, but you have such an overwhelming like Leo Mars together that I just can't imagine that Chiron would hold it back. Now in the 1st house, it's about like being wounded either emotionally or physically. And it speaks about like rejection when you express your like true authentic being, which leads to like self-exploration and someone who later through that becomes a healer. And 12th house, it's like someone who is just like a spiritual, meant to be like kind of like a spiritual healer who can heal through spirit, through their connection to oneness and all that. Okay, so Saturn in the second house. I'm talking about Saturn. That right there is a big one. Well, I don't know why I said that. Saturn in the second house, basically like in Taurus. So it's like, what can happen is that someone like it can set one back financially until their Saturn return, and also it can have an effect on like self. It's not a bad place to have your Saturn because it's an Earth sign, but it can create someone like where there's feelings of emotional and financial poverty early in life until like the Saturn return. But it's really good for money, like long term, because you're able to like develop an ability to really build up your personal resources through hard work, and like just like maybe you get pushed down, you get back up, and then after a Saturn return, no more getting pushed down. And yeah, it can create someone who really is serious about the goal is to like not put too much energy into like the external, and to really try to find like the internal resources, right? So good. That's really good kombucha. What flavor is that? Red orange or blood orange. So yeah. And then you're part of fortune in the second house. That's very good for money. Basically, like, but also just like you discover like lots of joy through stability. To build like firm foundations in your life. That's where you really feel at ease. Surrendering to the forces of nature. That's what kind of brings you peace. And yeah, having like a set of values that you subscribe to and you lead your life by is really, really important. So detaching from like society's values, from that like past life conditioning, and finding your own is really your own spiritual values is super, super important. And let's talk about Juno. So Juno is, once again, it's also, wow. So you have Venus, sextile Moon, sextile Juno, like, which are all like super important for love. Of course, Mars and Leo, it's also important to love. Like you'll also want someone who's not boring, right? Who's up for an adventure and and that stuff. But yeah, the Juno, it's kind of like your ideal partner. So in Taurus in the second house, someone who has resources, someone who's consistent. It's a similar energy to what I've been saying, right? Like a consistent person. I hate to like say like the money thing, but like it is true. Like I just wouldn't like who at least like where you feel like a real sense of security with material security in your relationships. Like shared finances and possessions are important. And yeah. And you like with Taurus, it's like just really like needing to feel super, super safe within your relationship. And just once again, like wanting that really reliable and stable partner. So yeah. And it can be quite traditional in the realm of relationships, but then the Uranus will make things like a little bit less. Also, I'm curious to hear how if that like has shaken things up, because like Uranus is like the great liberator. So there's like this really traditional side, but then there's the Uranus, which is like very not like that. All right. Midheaven in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn the second. So once again, that's a real go-getter when it comes to career. Someone who, probably like it took them, like who really wants to grow in their career and succeed. And, with the Saturn in the second house, it's very good for money. And yeah, really wanting like a very, very respectable, responsible career path. They can be like an authority figure in some type of way. Like I said, there's usually like setbacks early, but like there's such perseverance that it's a very strong position. It's like where you want to have your midheaven. And yeah, like the hard work pays off in the end. And I want to look up something really quickly. Where's my fixed star list? So it's 11 Capricorn, 1147. Let's see what we got. So Nunki, I've never heard of this star. Let's see if there's anything on it. Doesn't say anything about midheaven. That's weird. It just says that Rihanna has it. Let's see if I can learn a little bit more about this star through diving into it a little bit. So it gives truthfulness, optimism, and a religious mind. So remember, this is related to the career. According to Ptolemy, is the nature of Jupiter and Mercury. Religious mind, thoughtful, philosophical, writer, religious, or similar subjects. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. The cat's staring at me, as I told you she would be. Such a dramatic little Aries sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising. I'm gonna make her wait. It's not actually cold outside. It's not actually raining anymore. It's just wet. And she needs to learn her lesson, even though she'll never learn because she's a cat and she'll always stare at me with those little cute eyes and psychically be like, open the door, Jesse. Just because I want to make you work. So let's see what else it says about this. Okay, so it's very like good for like authority also on any matters concerning the topics of Sagittarius and Capricorn. So very good for business, philosophy, anything related to travel. It's good for fame also, it says. And yeah, interesting. So that's that. And then also want to see one other thing, 21 Aries. There's one around there that's important. Bait Botanicators. So I think I've read this one before. I think there's very limited information about it. It's 2149 and it's 2157, so it's very close. Let's see if it gives any. So it gives, okay, so this is your ascendant. It's conjunct this star. It's not like a super important star, but it says thoughtful. There can be anxiety, connected with building, mines, and minerals. And there can be melancholy. So okay, so it can give like lots of reserve, caution, solitude, and simplicity. Very powerful though. So it's not a very authoritative energy. It's a lot to do with like change, transformation. But yeah, there's the risk of like depression. But yeah, I mean like it's a warlike star that pretends, falls, and blows. So yeah, basically like it's a very Aries star. So it's like it goes without saying, like where there can be a very dynamic kind of like assertive streak to you, like battly, like even like battly is not a word, I know, but whatever. So yeah. All right. Let's just go down this one more time. The nodes, square. Yeah, I talked about that. I talked about that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoy. Let's see, 116. Oh my God, a beautiful miracle. 1 second. I've been trying so hard to get the reading time down. It's like, come on, Mika, get inside. It's usually like, I don't know. I know I can still say everything I need to say in like around a time like this, but usually I just go way over, and I'm trying to like say the exact same amount in less time by not talking too fast. It's just like a skill that I'm trying to get better at, because I've done readings that are way too long, and this is perfect. So this is a really probably my ideal length, like around this 75-minute-ish. Anyways, thanks so much. Can't wait for the follow-up, and talk soon. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Bye for my cats. We're sleeping. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.